What's up guys, JV2017 here with the 8th part of my complete King's Fall raid guide, and today I'm going to show you how to kill the Daughters of Oryx. Now, this encounter is the precursor to the final Oryx fight because a lot of the same mechanics are present, but they're used in different ways. So if you understand how this fight works, you will have a better grasp on the mechanics of the final Oryx fight. And this encounter is generally pretty easy and shouldn't give you too much trouble as long as you know what you're doing. So let's get into it. So the general goal for this encounter is to kill Oryx's daughters by using Brand of Unweaving, I believe it is, or Unraveling, in order to deal damage to them. So it's about kind of getting a relic kind of brand item and then using this relic slash bubble in order to deal damage to these enemies that you need. So before we get into actual mechanics, I always like to go over roles first and what everyone's doing in the encounter. So first off, there's the role of the person who's torn between dimensions, and this is a random person that is chosen in the party. It's completely random, and their objective is to jump along these kind of disappearing hidden platforms that appear in order to grab the brand that allows, the entire group to deal damage to those daughters. And really, this person just needs to know how to jump and needs to know which direction to go. And so, it's completely random. So if you have one person in mind that's like your rock star, your superstar of your group, then you can basically wipe until this person is chosen, or you can just teach everyone so everyone has a grasp on it in order, to be prepared in your raid group for every single time, because again, it is random. So that is the role of the Torn Between Dimensions Guardian. The biggest group in this encounter is the platform group, and this is a group of 4 guardians, and each one is assigned to one of these giant platforms that have an activation plate on top, and these people are responsible for jumping on that activation plate in a certain order, and it's in this kind of clockwise or counterclockwise order, and I'll get to exactly what that order means and how that works in the mechanics section of this guide. But just keep in mind, these people are just responsible for jumping on platforms. It's a very easy job, and I'll get to exactly how that works in a little bit here. The last and probably least important role in this fight is ad control. That's going to be your last guardian that's either not torn or not responsible for a platform. All they have to do is kill the taken in the middle of the area. It's probably not even necessary to have an ad control person, but this is just the last job that's available. So that's really all of the roles for this encounter. Let's go ahead and jump into the mechanics of this fight. There are 3 basic phases, or really 2, and then you repeat them over and over. There's the platform phase, which involves a lot of directional stuff and a lot of jobs, so we'll get into that first, and of course it comes first in the order. And then second is the damage phase, where you actually deal damage to the daughters. That's pretty straightforward, and then you're going to repeat this kind of 1-2 combo over and over until you're able to down the Daughters of Oryx. First, I'm going to go into detail with the platform phase. Now, this is very confusing, so pay close attention if you don't know this fight, and I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible. So with the platform phase, the idea is that the platform guardians, that group of 4 on their respective platforms, are to jump in order on their platforms in a counterclockwise order, and I'll get to how you determine that order in a second here, while the person who is torn between dimensions jumps in these, appearing platforms that appear in the air as the platform guardians jump on their 4 platforms in order to get the brand, which again allows you to deal damage to the daughters. And this is going to be a lot more simple to just watch than me actually explain, but of course it's a video, so I have to explain it. So basically what happens is when one person gets torn between dimensions, a 60-second timer will start in the bottom left for everyone. It's called the Hymn of Weaving, and essentially this is a timer that it gives you the amount of time you have to damage the daughters before they do this giant blinding effect and kill anybody that's not within the brand. So that's just something you need to keep in the back of your mind. You need to be inside of the bubble whenever this giant, whenever the timer goes down, when this giant blinding light comes to kill everyone. And so that is something to keep in the back of mind, but also there is a certain platform order, like I explained before, that you have to jump in order to ensure that your Torn Between Dimensions runner is able to jump on these appearing platforms in the air. And the way you determine that order is this. So that the order starts one place from under the brand. So you're going to have this kind of icon in the air. It's going to show where the brand is floating. And the order starts one place counterclockwise from where that brand is hanging in the air. So the best way to explain this is to give you an example. So if the brand is hanging in the air in the front right, on top of the front right platform from the spawn, then that means you're going to start on the platform that's basically back right, or closest to Oryx if you know that fight. So it's basically behind the daughter on the right. It's going to start at that platform, then it's going to jump left to that platform, and then it's going to go back to the front left of spawn platform. And that's basically the order that you're going to do this in. Again, it's easier to just watch the video to see kind of the order. But essentially, one person, and that's usually been me and my raid groups, is going to call out the order to jump in. So one person really needs to know what they're doing, and the rest of the Guardians just need to listen and follow instructions. So essentially, you're going to jump in this counterclockwise order, but the person who is under the brand, the Guardian that's responsible for that platform, doesn't need to jump on their platform at all. So they can kind of be a wild card, kind of help out with ads, and just be ready to deal damage to the daughters. So I've just been showing you footage of what it looks like to be a platform person. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like to be a torn between dimensions person. So the person is torn between dimensions, starts on the platform, again, one place from under the brand. And once they start, it's fairly simple that you just jump at the platform in a counterclockwise direction all the way around to the brand. And once you get this brand, the person that's torn needs to kind of just stay near it until they have actively, received it, and then jump to the daughter that is not red. That's just the best way to describe it. They'll have this, one of the daughters will have this giant beam in the air. I'm not sure if it's the same daughter every single time that has it, but essentially you need to jump to the platform of the daughter that is not red, because that daughter is vulnerable. And so once you jump on that platform, you'll hold X or square depending on your console, and that'll give you this bubble that allows you to deal damage to the daughters. And you're only going to be able to deal damage to the daughter that was vulnerable. And so keep that in mind. So if the daughter on the left from spawn was vulnerable, you're going to come back, and then all of your Guardians are going to shoot at that daughter. And also something else to keep in mind, all of the platform Guardians can jump off of their platforms once the runner gets the brand. So usually our runner would call out and say, hey, you can jump off, get ready for the damage phase. So I try to make that as simple as possible. I hope you guys get the general gist of what's going on. So let's move on to the damage phase. And in the damage phase, the torn between dimensions runner is going to bring the brand to the Guardians in order to damage the daughter. So the Guardians have to be inside of this brand bubble, kind of like a Titan bubble, in order to deal damage to those daughters. So really, with my group, we brought our brand to spawn, but I've also been in another raid group where they brought it to either side of the daughters, and it really just depends on personal preference with your group. Whatever works, works. But you must kill the daughters in consecutive brand runs. Now, what does that mean? That means in order, you have to kill one daughter on one run and then kill the next daughter on the next run, or else you wipe. They have to be killed in consecutive runs. So essentially, don't kill the first daughter if you can't deal enough damage to the second daughter. So what does that mean? Well, that means that if your raid group all has Touch of Malices, which by the way is a great weapon here. If you have the Touch of Malice, throw it on. There's no better weapon to kill the daughters except maybe the Sleeper Simulant maxed out. So essentially, the safe way to do this is to get the first daughter way down, get her health way down, but don't kill her, and then try to kill the second daughter. And if you can kill the second daughter in 2 runs, that's great. But if you're not able to kill the second daughter, you can just return to the first daughter and kill her. And then of course the next run will be your consecutive run, and that second daughter will already be low and you'll be able to kill her. So ideally, you kill the first daughter in the first run and then kill the second daughter. But that may not be every raid group, and I don't advise trying that on your first time. My best advice is to do it the safe way, and then once you're really comfortable with your raid group, just go for the ideal way. So once you're done with the damage phase, you just repeat it. So you repeat it over and over. You do the platform phase and then the damage phase. You return to your positions, you repeat it, and once you kill the daughters, of course, you get a chance at loot, and you could get the shotgun, you could get the class item, which is fantastic. I got it after like 4 or 5 runs. And then you could get the fusion rifle, I've read, but some people weren't able to get the fusion rifle from this run. So you could also get moldering shards as well. So anyways, guys, I hope you learned something new from this video. And if you did, remember to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it. Also look forward to my final Oryx video by subscribing to my channel. We're going to tackle Oryx in the next few days here. I hope you guys are excited, and I will talk to you next time. Peace.